On October 10th, 2012, Amanda Michelle Todd, a 15-year-old Canadian girl, committed suicide at her home in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, Canada. Prior to her death, Todd had posted a video on YouTube in which she used a series of flashcards to tell her experience of being blackmailed into exposing her blank via webcam, and of being bullied and physically assaulted. The video went viral after her death, resulting in international media attention. The video has more than 200 million views as of June 2016. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police and British Columbia Coroner's Service launched investigations into the suicide. In response to the death, Christy Clark, the Premier of British Columbia, made an online statement of condolence and suggested a national discussion of criminalizing cyberbullying. Also, a motion was introduced in the Canadian House of Commons to propose a study of the scope of bullying in Canada and for more funding and support for anti-bullying organizations. Todd's mother, Carol, established the Amanda Todd Trust, receiving donations to support anti-bullying awareness, education, and programs for young people with mental health problems. On September 7th, 2012, Todd posted a 9-minute YouTube video entitled My Story: Struggling, Bullying, Suicide, and Self-Harm, which showed her using a series of flashcards to tell her of her experiences being bullied. The video post went viral after her death on October 10th, 2012, receiving over 1,600,000 views by October 13th of 2012. With news websites from around the world linking to it. During the video, Todd writes that when she was in grade 7, 2009 through 2010, around the same time she moved in with her father, she used video chat to meet new people over the internet, and she received compliments after her look. A stranger convinced Todd to blank on camera, following 1 year of attempts at having her do so. The individual later blackmailed her with threats of providing in photos to her friends unless she gave him a show. She also featured briefly, albeit circumstantially, on the Fox, might be faux, animated news show Daily Capper on Blog TV in an incident which attracted the vigilant attentions of the group Anonymous after her suicide. An episode of Daily Capper which attempted to make the moral high ground very different in tone from their usual exploitive material, was released a month after her death. Todd wrote that during the Christmas break in 2010, police informed her at 4 a.m. that the photo was circulating on the internet. She wrote that she experienced anxiety, depression, and panic disorder due to her experience of being blank online and being cyberbullied. Her family moved to a new home, where Todd later stated that she began using drugs and alcohol. A year later, the individual reappeared creating a Facebook profile, which used the photograph as the profile image, and contacted classmates at her new school. Again, Todd was teased, eventually changing schools for a second time. She wrote that she began chatting to an old guy friend who contacted her. The friend invited Todd to his house, where they blanked his girlfriend was on a holiday. The following week, the boy's girlfriend and a group of about 15 others confronted Todd at school, shouting insults with the boy's girlfriend punching her. Todd fell to the ground, then lay in a ditch where her father found her. Following the attack, Todd attempted suicide by drinking bleach, but she survived after being rushed to the hospital to have her stomach pumped. It killed me inside, and I thought I was going to actually die, Todd commented in her video about drinking bleach. After returning home, Todd discovered abusive messages about her failed suicide attempt posted to Facebook. In March 2012, her family moved to another city to start afresh, but Todd was unable to escape the past. According to her mother, every time she moved schools, he would go undercover and become a Facebook friend. What the guy did was he went online to the kids who went to the new school and said that he was going to be a new student, that he was starting school the following week, and that he wanted some friends and could they friend him on Facebook. He eventually gathered people's names and sent Todd's video to her new school, including students, teachers, and parents. 6 months later, further messages and abuse were still being posted to social networking sites. Todd's mental state worsened. She began to engage in self-mutilation, cutting. Despite taking her prescribed antidepressants and receiving counseling, she overdosed and was hospitalized for 2 days. Todd was taunted by other school students at her school for her low grades. A consequence of a language-based learning disability. And for the time she spent in the hospital to treat her severe depression. It didn't really help that after she got out of the hospital recently, some kids started calling her a psycho and saying she had been in the crazy hospital, her mother said. She went to the hospital. She had therapy. She had counseling. She was on a good track. On the day she gets out, that happens, I shake my head and I think, are kids really that nasty? Do they really not think? What if it was them? On October 10th, 2012, at about 6 p.m., Todd was found dead at her home. At the time of her death, Todd was a grade 10 student at CABE Secondary in Coquitlam, a school that caters to students who have experienced social and behavior issues in previous educational settings. A preliminary investigation by British Columbia Coroner's Service showed that Todd's death was a suicide. The cause of death was reported in some media as hanging. However, the exact cause of death has not been released. Both the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and British Columbia Coroner's Service launched an investigation with 20 full-time investigators working on the case. The Cockwood Lamb and Ridge Meadows series crime teams cooperated in a full investigation, conducting interviews and examining potential factors that may have contributed to Todd's death. Investigators are reviewing content as social media sites and are actively monitoring it. The Canadian National Organization reported having received a tip about Todd nearly 1 year before her suicide. The anti-child exploitation group stated that in November 2011, a concerned citizen reported that the images of Todd were in circulation on the internet. That information was provided to law enforcement as well as child welfare agencies. According to the CBC News program, the RCMP were contacted repeatedly that the juvenile was being blamed by an adult male, and in response, the RCMP told the family there was nothing that could be done about it. According to the Ontario Provincial Police, however, the crime of blank is investigated quite successfully. Following the investigation by Facebook's security unit, whose report was forwarded by U.S. authorities to the Child Exploitation and Online Protection Center attached to the British National Crime Agency, and then to Dutch authorities. In January 2014, Dutch police arrested a man in a case involving multiple victims in the Netherlands, UK, and Canada. In April 2014, it was reported that Dutch authorities charged a 35-year-old man with dual Dutch and Turkish citizenship, identified as Aiden C. In accordance with Dutch privacy laws, with indecent assault and child, I'm not going to say that. The same month, the RCMP announced that the man had been charged with internet luring, criminal harassment, and the possession of for his alleged and distribution of child blank for his alleged activities against Todd and other child victims, both male and female. Todd's mother thanked police, but also said that she believed more than one person was involved. On January 28, 2015, CBC News said that Aiden Coben had written an open letter proclaiming his innocence, although some child blank charges were dropped by Dutch authorities in October 2015. Aiden C. still faces 72 charges of blank assault and blank in the Netherlands, involving 39 alleged victims. If convicted and sentenced, he faces 5 separate Canadian charges related to Todd, not one of the 39, and is still anticipated that he would be extradited. Don't know how to say that, sorry folks, to Canada no sooner than the middle of 2018, whilst serving his Dutch sentence. Todd's suicide received widespread international media coverage, of which included a link to Todd's YouTube video and an email address provided by the RCMP appealing for information from the public. Within 24 hours of the appeal, over 400 tips were received. The RCMP has stated that its investigation was hindered by the amount of false information in online postings after Todd's death, and scams claiming to raise... Sorry, folks. Damn, I lost my place. And scams claiming to raise money for her family. On October 19th, 2012, a series of vigils was held across Canada and internationally to remember Todd and other victims of bullying. A minute of silence was observed by 250,000 students in the Toronto District School Board District. On the same date, Todd's mother was a guest of the 2012 We Day event in Vancouver. A week after Todd's death, bullying had been scheduled as a topic prior to Todd's death and was addressed by speakers Magic Johnson, musician, and anti-bullying advocate Demi Lovato, and British Columbia Premier Christy Clark. Initially, Todd's mother was denied entry to an anti-bullying conference to fear that her presence would upset other attendees. The family was invited to attend later events. In November 18, 2012, 600 people gathered at a final farewell ceremony for Todd at Red Robinson Show Theatre in Coquitlam, near her home. Todd's mother, Carol, told that gathering that her daughter was left behind, a larger-than-life message that has sparked the world and has made it open its eyes, its ear, and its hearts. Internet hacking and activist group Anonymous alleged that a 32-year-old man was Todd's blackmailer and main tormentor. The group published the Vancouver area man's name and address on the internet, resulting in the man's receipt of online threats of vigilant justice. According to an interview with the Vancouver Sun, the publication for his identity on social media sites resulted in over 50 emails and thousands of Facebook death threats. A member of Anonymous had attempted to dissuade the group from publishing the information, saying that they had the right person, but that the address being published belonged to someone else, not the target. Slate reported that the person who was actually responsible turned out to be 19 rather than 32. Michelle Dean of The New Yorker compared Todd's death to be a suicide of Tyler Clementi. In an early piece questioning the assumptions of perpetrators of non-consensual, never mind, she quotes, "Women have become, as Franks put it, unwilling avatars, unable to control their own images online, and then I'm sorry, folks. This is tearing me up. And then told to put up with it for the sake of freedom, for the good of the community. And then they are incorrectly told, even if the public is behind them, that they have no remedies in the law. They are shouted down by people with a view of freedom of speech, more literal than that held by any judge. But whatever Amanda Todd might have been thinking, whatever else might be true, she did get one thing out of this. Amanda Todd did manage to, just once, tell her own story. She got to drown out the version of her that strangers had put out on the web. It's a small comfort, but it was perhaps the only one she had left. Following Todd's suicide, more than 1 million Facebook users liked her Facebook memorial page. Mingled among the positive support and comments are continuing attack posts and images from strangers and those claiming to be her former classmates. After one man's derogatory Facebook comments about Todd's death were reported to his employer, the Grafton Fraser, Mr. Big and Tall clothing chain, confirmed that he was no longer an employee. On October 19, 2012, police in New Zealand said they were questioning a 17-year-old boy from Raglan who allegedly posted inappropriate and disturbing images on a memorial page for Todd. Police removed the images and shut down the boy's Facebook page. Todd's suicide engendered the drink bleach internet meme, also immediately thereafter. And 4 years after her death, she was associated with the 2016 movie Suicide Squad. Todd's mother, Carol, established the Amanda Todd Trust at the Royal Bank of Canada, receiving donations to support anti-bullying awareness education and programs for young people with mental health problems. Carol Todd is close friends with Leah Parsons, the mother of Rantia Parsons, and they frequently network on cyberbullying issues. The two women often have speaking engagements about their respective daughters with an emphasis on respect, acceptance, forgiveness, and dignity. In November 2013, Bill C-13 was introduced by Justice Minister Peter MacKay of the Conservative Party. Cyberbullying and legislation's warrantless access provisions were criticized by Carol Todd, who remarked that, "I don't want to see our children victimized again by losing privacy rights." The definition of cyberbullying itself has been a matter of considerable debate, as have the privacy provisions of the bill. It went into effect, however, on March 9th, 2015, while it had largely been promoted as protecting minors. It applies to all ages. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. So, basically, what we've learned is that people can be real. How can I say this? People can be real dicks on the internet. So, next time you hear someone talking about you wanting death threats and stuff, just ignore them. You don't need them. So, next time, just remember that. So, I can't believe this. People have been dicks on the internet since it began. Cyberbullying has been around since the internet began. Everything, basically, on the internet started when the internet began. And that's why we need to stop this. If you have any people who are making fun of you, all you need to do is just block them. So, basically, that's all. Anyways, Kid99 signing out. Peace.